So yeah, welcome back everybody. You will be able to access this recording in two ways. One, we'll be putting up the full recording, and two, we'll also put up the individual speaker segments as well. So if you wait, if you stick along, actually what I'll do is let me just flash this up. If you go to this QR code, it will take you to a link tree that has lots of different QR codes, and you'll see there's one called CRM presenters, and it's a playlist of all previous all previous calls that we've had as well. So yeah, every recording gets posted on our LinkedIn and our YouTube channel. So head to there if you don't have the LinkedIn channel, the YouTube channel, or the specific YouTube playlist where they ultimately get posted. Shall we dive straight in? There's one thing I want to talk about before we jump into our speakers, and that is a new thing that's just been launched by Microsoft called Copilot Studio Agent Academy. I don't know about your world, but my world has been taken over by Copilot Studio. And the Agent Academy is a free self-paced learning academy that Microsoft has launched, designed for all different skill levels. So as you can see, it's organized like a game. So there's a recruit level, and there will be an operative and a commander level. So starting with foundational and building up. And the idea is that you start off learning the basics, setting up environments, building help desk style agents and publishing them. And then it gets more advanced. So it's available. It's completely free. Head to aka.ms/agent-academy. And it's awesome. I know that Copilot Studio is becoming a thing that we all need to learn. So Microsoft is making that free and easy to do. And you'll be able to see when you go on the site the prerequisites you have for accessing trial environments, having a Microsoft account, etc. But yeah, just wanted to share that. And now, before we dive into our speakers, I wanted to let you know that based on the feedback we received in the survey at the end of the last, let's call it, calendar year season, folks wanted to hear more from Microsoft speakers. So we're going to do a little trial over the next few months where for every call we have one Microsoft speaker and one community speaker. And if you love it, great. And if you want less of it, great. We'll just learn all together. For a while, we've been doing mostly community speakers with the occasional Microsoft speaker, but the feedback we always get is, can we have more Microsoft people involved? So just want to give you that opportunity. So yeah, please send me your feedback, and then we'll do a more formal survey after a couple of months to see what you like about it, what you don't. So with that, our first speaker of the first call as we rejoin after the summit is Ayushman Jain, who's in Microsoft. Ayushman, why don't you start by introducing yourself, let the audience know what team you're in, what your role is, and then we'll jump into your session about igniting AI in sales.
Cool. Thank you, Lydia, and great energy today. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Yeah, my name is Ayush, and I've been at Microsoft for about 10 years now. Seems like a long time, but our people around me have been here 20, 25 years, so maybe not as much. I've been in Dynamics for the last 5 years and been leading customer insights as well as sales in that stint. I've had product marketing and software development roles at Microsoft as well, so I kind of speak to different kinds of, the sides of software supply chain. I'm here to talk to you about AI transformation of sales today. So just curious, with a quick show of hands, can you all just tell me how to who all is this topic really timely and really really relevant?
I'll raise my hand for that, that's for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, sounds like lots of people.
Yeah, that's great. And the reason why I'm talking to you about this today is because I've been working with literally hundreds of customers, I feel like, in the last 1 year to literally go and help them with their transformation journey. And right now we're in a place where I don't think anybody has really cracked the code for what it means to really have an AI transformed sales team. Neither have we as a vendor cracked the code on what we need to offer out of the box as a product to just enable that transformation right on day one. But what we're doing is co-innovating. We're working with customers to understand what they need and how can we deliver on those needs with generative AI agents in sales. And so my 15 minutes today is just going to focus on what we have learned and what we think is our vision for a completely AI transformed sales organization. And feel free to come off mute, ask questions as I go through this. I don't have a lot of content apart from just my goal is to just get you all to think about, how can you engage, your partners, your clients, or even your own sales organizations in that conversation, and how can you start taking the baby steps towards, trying out more generative AI agents as part of that. So with that, I just quickly talk about the problem that we see that most sales leaders, have today. Today, the revenue that any sales organization can get at the end of the year really is a function of the capacity that they have. And in lots of cases, that capacity is, this is the number of sellers that they have on their team. And so if a sales leader has to 10x their revenue, they just can't do it unless they actually 10x their sales team. And a lot of sales teams today do this expansion through adding like vendor resources, through adding like these, lower cost sales development reps that may not be full sellers, but can do some of the jobs that sellers do and, free up the remaining to do the selling. Now, what if, a sales leader could radically grow their revenue per seller? So each seller in the team can, be attributed to more and more revenue, and the team size does not have to grow, but the revenue that the company can get can grow. Like, what if we can do that? That's the question we started with. And generative AI agents really help us get to find a way to finally start answering that question. So we believe that an AI first company of tomorrow, and by AI first company, I mean, either a company that is just born in AI, the world of AI, or a company that is fully transformed. We believe that this company will operate with a combination of people and agents as part of their sales team, right? And then the agents have a lot more capacity to scale on demand, scale up and down, where the people are, of course, harder to like scale up and down at the same rate. But that means that this sales team has some flexibility and has some elasticity in the way that it can grow. And then they're all using Copilot, right? So Copilot is the central nervous system. Agents and humans alike use Copilot capabilities across sales, Microsoft 365, and other products. And through that, kind of operate in a hyper-productive state so that they can get more done. We believe that this transformation will happen across the whole sales process. If we think about the sales process as a combination of three core selling jobs. The first one being the top of the funnel to generate demand and qualify leads. The second one being close deals once they're in the pipeline. And then once you've closed the deal, then the third one being, growing the customer portfolio or the footprint. If you think about the sales process as a combination of those three processes, each one of those processes will get disrupted by agents doing more and more of the jobs. However, we do know that the agents cannot do everything. While the agent may be really good at being able to, let's say, research a lead that's incoming and find out more information about them, the agent cannot just like start connecting with the lead, and like selling a solution to them, or the agent cannot start like pitching and negotiating in the process of closing a deal. Right. So there are certain things where the humans will still continue to function and do their best work. But then some of the overhead that the humans have to go through today, prospecting, managing all these like email and call downs to just get more pipeline, some of that can be alleviated. And for those jobs, humans will be overseeing the agents. Right, not necessarily operating those jobs, but the agents are doing it, and then humans are overseeing them. So when the agents cannot get a job done, they will ask for help from a human, but the human does not have to always be in the picture. So this is kind of what that sales funnel or the sales life cycle kind of may look like in the future. Now, some of the things that we are learning that our customers are gravitating towards or starting to experiment with are in these two categories. The category of scaling revenue with agents, and then the category of reducing sales overhead. In terms of scaling revenue, there are some examples here where customers today take like multiple hours or multiple days to engage with each incoming lead. And now with agents, they can do that instantaneously. An agent can pick up a lead and start engaging with them as soon as they arrive. And we know that time is money. And if you engage with the lead, after 48 hours, the lead is less likely to respond relative to if you engage with them within minutes. So now with agents engaging, we think that at that time, compression will result in higher rates of response and therefore higher pipeline, which will result in downstream impact on the actual revenue. In Microsoft itself, we are doing a lot of pilots where sales teams project growing revenue per headcount, per seller by 10 to 20%, because now they can prospect to higher quality leads, as the agents are now the first level of deflection. The agents are looking at every lead and deciding whether or not a human should engage with them. And so the humans don't have to engage with thousands of leads a year. Instead, they do only so with a very few select leads. And then my favorite is finding money under the couch. Every single sales organization has leads that are going, falling through the cracks. The sales capacity is just not enough to get all the leads prospected, right? So 15 to 20% leads just always go untouched. And so the agent can now go and prospect these leads, irrespective of the human capacity. And if some of those leads actually respond back and start engaging, that's like finding money under the couch. You would not have engaged these leads otherwise, but now with agents, you get a very cheap way to engage with them. And then finally, reducing sales overhead. A lot of our customers have these back office, staff, or they have vendors who are simply doing certain things in the sales process. Like they're just looking at a lead that comes in with a first name and last name and email address, and that's not enough information for a seller to operate with. So their job is to go and do some research on every single lead that comes in to enrich that lead, be it the job title, be it like, what are their company's priorities? Are they looking to buy a solution that we are selling? What is their financial health? They're simply doing that enrichment. And now they can kind of eliminate the cost of that enrichment. And similarly, there's companies that are just using vendors to do call downs, initial call downs to see who responds. And the people who respond are then routed to a human seller. So again, like the agents can now be that front. So those are the kind of examples we are seeing where customers are sort of like dipping their feet and experimenting and piloting agents and finding like real money. In terms of what we have in Dynamics that customers are trying, we have 2 agents today already out in the product, and we are working on more. We have the sales qualification agent that operates on the top of the funnel, and for every single lead, it researches, it autonomously engages back and forth. If the lead doesn't respond, it reminds them. If the lead asks a question, it answers the question. And then it's always looking at the intent to buy through those email conversations it's having with the lead. And then whoever shows intent to buy is then handed off to a human seller for qualification. So that's what Sales Qualification Agent does. It's already in public preview. It has been so since April, and we have lots of customers using it. And then we have, I will just quickly go to the next one. The Opportunity Research Agent, which then operates on the deals that have emerged from those leads. So it constantly researches every single deal that comes to the pipeline, provides sellers the insights they need to succeed and understand the key stakeholders in the deal, what are the competitive talking points, what is the health of the deal based on the conversations that are happening. And then if there's any risk that emerges in a long-running deal, because deals can run for, let's say, 5 to 6 months, it proactively flags the risk. The risk could be a competitor being mentioned on an email or meeting. It could be, a stakeholder leaving the company or waning engagement that you have not talked to key stakeholders for 2 months. These are the kinds of risk signals it always looks at and proactively flags it to the seller, ensuring that each deal is closed as one. And so these are the 2 agents we have in Dynamic Sales today that are available for public preview that customers are using. And so I'll just leave you here with the next steps. If you're curious, familiarize yourself with these agents. There's pretty good documentation on our Learn website. And if you want to run pilots yourself or with your customers, your partners, please reach out to us.
Thank you. That's awesome. We want to. I think what you've done is absolutely perfect there. We want to give our audience, make it easier for them to know who to contact in Microsoft engineering for things that are coming. So love that you're giving everyone the opportunity to reach out if they want to run pilots. And great that there's somewhere we can go to trial these two agents. And I loved the stats you had as well about the measurable impact customers are having or experiencing with these agents. So thanks so much. Angeliki, would you like to introduce our next guest?
Yes, please. So we have Annie Black from the community. She's also one of our very excited BizOps MVPs, and you may have heard from her as part of the UI UX Allies user group, as well as her infamous Power Platform cookbook. So really excited for what she has brought to us today, because she will not present the traditional method with slides, and she has something else in store for us. So Anna, looking forward to see what you got for us.
Thank you, Angelique. That's such an amazing intro. I think I can skip mine now. Let me just quickly share my screen. Let me choose the right one. Okay, let me see. Okay, am I sharing the right one? Yes, I
You
believe
are,
so.
yes. Oh, I think you are, but I'm not actually sure.
Can you see email registration demo?
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. So, as Angeliki said, so first of all, hello, and welcome everyone to my session today. So I don't have slides, as mentioned. Today I will be presenting on the Dynamics Marketing app, and I thought what would be better to do some intro rather than using a marketing email and some HTML. So as I said, I will quickly skip the intro. However, Angeliki mentioned I'm running one user group. The exciting news I have to share with the community is actually end of the month, I will be launching another user group called Copilotverse, just in addition to obviously the Copilot Academy. If you're looking for more learnings, I hope you'll be able to join that exciting user group. But that's enough about me. Today, I wanted to focus more around my experience working on global rollout of customer insights journey. So this customer, not only using the CIJs, they also using the sales and customer service. Interesting fact as well about them is that recently, over the last few weeks, they also went live with the very first desktop companion app and the Teams telephony in Europe, which is the part of the contact center. So more about the rollout. So far, we rolled it out to almost 10 countries in Europe and also in North America. And the further expansions are planned with the very ambitious target of over 40 countries. So very exciting project to be part of. So in the Europe alone, we already sitting at a database of over 1 million contacts and over 150 leads. So quickly give you some insight about what else we built apart from the standard functionality of marketing. As we know, Microsoft is quite heavily investing in the application. Every month there is a new release, new exciting features are coming in, but still we are taking it constantly to a new level and adding some fancy features for our marketers. So one of the really cool feature is, for example, a message counter to limit the cost of sending a duplicate message when we accidentally use the special character. The user have a view to see how many characters are within the message and limit that when it's exceeding that 160 limits. We also built a custom event portal. The reason for it is, as I mentioned before, we are the customer is B2B business. So it's very important that we are not creating contacts without a proper associations with an account. So there is a verification process when lead can register, is being verified and then associated with a contact and then actual account. What is more, we have a few really rich customer journeys, but not only with using the standard things like obviously sending emails and all the follow-ups. We enhance the journey analytics by using the custom triggers. So we're collecting additional information like the quote totals for the quotes routing on a certain branch. Again, as we know, there is some limitation when it comes to the asset transfers and components between the environments. Again, we have a custom solution for that to help, for example, move emails or email templates across the different business units and environments. Also, there is a new update coming with the API support for the journey. Again, we'll be looking into exploring that very soon, as soon as available. And someone put themselves on mute because it's a bit distracting, sorry.
Yeah, I'm going through and muting people. Teams has a habit of turning people off mute, so I'm fixing that.
Oh, thank you, Lydia. Sorry. Okay, where was I? So yes, a couple of more things to mention. We also built a user-friendly PCF, and what that PCF is doing, it's creating advanced segments query for the quotes and orders. So the quote and order sits in a separate database and a data lake for customer. So we can leverage creating query based on, for example, the value of a quote, and bring that data, bring that query back of the static segment to the of the static list of the customers back to Dataverse. We also created a contact scoring model, so not just lead, but also contact scoring. It works slightly different than the one for the lead. This one calculates an average per business unit and also gives the delta for comparison whether the contact is more engaged than the average contact within a business unit or not. Again, we're taking advantage of the ability to customize the journey. We added extra information like journey tags, UTM, and so on. And a really proud moment for the team as well, that actually the team in Hitachi inspired what you can see just at the moment on the contact communication tab. The PCF that you can see was designed and built by Hitachi, and that really influenced the out-of-the-box feature. What is next? Couple of exciting things and obviously more, but the two things I'm more excited about is the testing the contact center and the journey integration. So that's still in a preview, but that's going to be our next big step. And also using the journeys for a push notification to a custom app for the customer. And I would like to move to my demo with a small caveat. So today I'm going to demo a custom solution for the event cancellation. However, as of June, we do have out-of-the-box feature allowing us to do it. So my calling to all the Dynamics consultant, and obviously always first consider the out-of-the-box functionality before diving into any customization, but there was a valid reason for going that route, just to support that lead event registration. So what I will do, the start of the show, it's that email, it's that button in here. So let me just quickly edit that for you. Am I still doing okay for time?
You have so much time. We also
Okay.
we always have more time than we say we have as well. So knock yourself out. The call doesn't end for another half hour, so take your time.
Okay, so it's not the 15 minutes. Okay, cool. I might need that. Okay,
That is fine.
amazing. So I'm for the cancel registration button. If I'll go and edit that in here. So when I'm looking at the link, that link has an address to my custom marketing form that I will also show you very shortly. But at the end of that link, what I'm doing, I'm adding two query parameters. So I'm using the personalization feature to retrieve the event name and the registration ID. And once that is being added with those curly brackets, I need to add within that URL as well question mark, the name of my parameter I wanted to use, and then equals sign. So if I will cancel that for now, and I will actually show you the email that's being sent. So that's the email that I sent to myself. When I click the cancel registration button, that's where that magic happens. So as you can see on the top, what is happening, those query parameters are being replaced with an actual value being pulled from Dataverse. And on the form itself, two things are happening. So that registration ID is being populated from that URL. So for that, there is a script called document listener that actually populates that value. The email address is actually using a feature called a pre-fill fields. We did consider that as alternative solution to use the pre-fill fields functionality. However, two things to call out on that is that the pre-filled fields expiring within the 90 days. So if you're gonna send an email invite to your customer, but the event is not for another, let's say 4 months, when they will use that event cancellation button, that value would not be fit in. And the second thing to call out is that actually the registration ID, this field doesn't exist on the contact itself. It only exists on the event registration record. So I'm using another new feature for it called unmap fields, which I'm going to show as well. But I wanted to trigger that event cancellation because it takes a minute to run that Power Automate that I have in the background. So let me just cancel that. On the submission, I have the successful message. So let's jump into what I mentioned before. Again, in this feature switches for each environment, you have something called custom unmap field. So you need to enable that to use those fields. And when we look at the marketing form itself, as I mentioned before, we can edit the HTML code of the form to add that event listener. I will send you after. I will share with you the link containing the more information around how to really do it. But then on the form itself, I also want to call out a couple of things. The audience I'm using, it's the lead and contact. Again, this is quite recent addition. Before that, we could only have the target of a contact or a lead. The latest one is to have both at once. The only prerequisite is that you need to create the relationship mapping between the fields. And then the unmap functionality also shows here as soon as that feature is enabled. So that allows you to add the new fields. And you can see that register ID one that I already created for that form. So again, this field shows on the form. You can use it to collect data and pre-populate information, but it doesn't really exist within your Dataverse, neither on the contact or a lead. And again, if you will consider that functionality within the form settings, I highly recommend to select not to create any new leads or contacts. I don't think that's going to open for me properly now, submission. So yes, there is the setting here, update match contact with submitted data, no. And if it create a new contact, if there was no match to an existing one, also I advise to select no. So moving next, as I said, I will share that link if someone is interested in it. But what is the actual orchestration of it in the background? So I have two separate journeys. The first journey I have it's to send an email invitation to my customer with all the details, including that cancellation button. And there is a separate journey that uses out of the box standard trigger called marketing form submitted. But with my journey, I want to limit when that journey is triggered. So I'm referencing that form submission, that specific form submission, which is my demo event cancellation. And once that form is submitted specifically, I have a custom trigger. This custom trigger is called unmapped fields form submission contact. The reason I put quite generic name for it, it's because thanks to that, it can have multiple use cases, not be just limited to that event cancellation. And I'm managing that using the purpose that then uses the switches in the Power Automate that we'll see in a minute. So that's about the trigger. And then when I go to my event registration records, as you can see, I have 5 of the registered one, and a part of this demo, I trigger cancellation for one. So hopefully when I refresh that, one of them should be showed as cancelled. So yes, this top one is now has been cancelled by the flow triggered by that custom trigger. And if I will go to the what's happening behind this scene, so now we have the I don't know what is better to see how the flow was processing or how it's designed, but basically I have a trigger for in the customer solution. There is actually 2 separate triggers. One is for contact, one is for a lead. Today I'm just focusing on the contact. So when that trigger is triggered from the journey, it's triggering the Power Automate. The Power Automate processes and the purpose of it pulls the information that it's for an event cancellation. And as I mentioned before, I have the switch that on that switch is calling a child flow that handles the actual event cancellation. And I also have that child flow open in here. So once that child flow is run, again, it's analyzing the input from that form, extract the registration ID number, and then using the list rows in the database finds that specific unique event registrations, and in the next step is updating that status to cancel. So again, within the journey, we can also add an additional step to send a confirmation email to the customer that was that their registration was successfully canceled. So that's it from the perspective of the flow. One more thing I want to quickly add that I recently discovered. It's this quite interesting website used for penetration testing. So you can use that site to paste the URL on your form. Because again, if you will consider adding any custom code to any of your marketing forms, always try to make sure that you're not exposing any of the customer information. And again, use tool like this for scanning for any vulnerability. So that's my kind of last tip of today. And that's me done. Any questions?
Thank you. Yeah, we did get a few questions. One was right near the beginning. Is customer journeys available in GCC, says Brian.
Customer, I don't know if I got to get the customer.
I'll put it in. This is the first question.
Okay, let me just go to the chat.
Is that is that the government community cloud? Is that what you mean by GCC, Brian?
Apologies, yes. What is the GCC? Apologies, I don't know.
Government community cloud. Does anybody else know the answer to that?
That's the good one to check in with. Apologies, I don't.
No, that's okay.
Yes, government community cloud.
I'm asking Copilot that question, see if we can get an answer to that. Then we've got another question about, would you think of this as a temporary solution or a final solution?
For now, it's a final solution that is used live. It's still quite early stages of that going live. There's some testing done around it, and it worked. But yes, prod is another story. So let's see what the customers will come up with. But yes, at the moment it was deemed as a secure solution till Microsoft hopefully at some point reconsider the event management and allow the lead registration. As I said, it's very unique, especially for the B2B setup.
And am I right in thinking you were building this for a specific client?
Yes. So I built that for that specific client. So yes.
Cool. Okay, awesome. And then I'm not sure whether you'll know the answer to this one either. Is Microsoft planning on releasing an out-of-the-box contact scoring model in customer insights journeys? I'm not sure the answer of that either, but Claire, if you message me, I will connect you with the product team and find out if that's something that is happening. Just put my email in the chat.
Again, that would be another great feature to have. Again, we build something custom that also retrieves all the marketing interactions and so on that sit in the fabric, I believe now, and based on that calculates the averages and gives you so let's say the average for a business unit is 500, then you have the score for a contact that is 600, which indicates okay that contact is more engaged than any other contact with that business unit.
So it sounds like you're saying, yes, there is a capability that does that currently.
Yes. So again, we built something custom to allow for that. That's what I'm trying to say.
Awesome.
Sorry.
No,
so yes, it wasn't fully even so we have the lead scoring model as the standard out of the box feature from Dynamics, but using a similar idea. We build the contact scoring, which is not supported as a native feature. I hope that was clearer this time around.
It seems like you are our go-to contact for custom integrations and configurations for customer insights. So
I wish it was just me. I have a fantastic team of developers and amazing solution architect that always comes out. I'm just here to tell the story on their behalf.
Perfect. I don't think there's any more questions, so thank you for sharing those. It's just great to see another live demo after a summer of being away from them. I'm going to just share my screen again to just talk about some events that are coming up and some new content that we created. So let's get those slides back up. What is this cookbook of Power Platform recipes? Is this an actual cookbook of food, or it's something to do with Power Platform?
No, it's to do with the Power Platform. I label it Power Platform Cookbook, and it is the essential recipes for Power Platform and Dynamics. I don't know. I just saw lots of context that dives into lots of advanced subjects, but there's so many new people coming to Dynamics, or lots of people coming to Power Platform, and there's not that much new fresh content. And I've been through the war. This is my kind of learnings from it. So yeah, that was kind of my idea to close that gap. So yes. Thank you, Angeliki.
Awesome. Put that link in the chat for us, please. That's awesome.
I must admit I haven't put any new content there for a while. I mainly focus on LinkedIn, but if anyone would be like genuinely interested in like me documenting that custom solution, I'm totally inspired to write a blog around it. So yeah, just one vote is enough to push me to do that. Thank you.
Okay, we need some votes in the chat, people. Okay, a couple of things we wanted to share. First of all, head to this link and you'll see a host of new content that we've published. We've just released all of the 2025 Release Wave 2 videos. You'll see a link to a playlist with those videos if you haven't checked them out. We've launched a new demystifying series. This time it's demystifying Copilot Studio, and it's involving our community members asking questions directly to our product team. So check that out. And a few more things are in there as well. And as always, my team is working tirelessly to create new content that will be posted on the Dynamics 365 community LinkedIn channels and YouTube channels over the coming weeks and months. And then we have some upcoming events we wanted to just call out for you. So first of all, global AI tours are back. We said we had a break. I think the break was about 6 weeks long, and now we're back out on the road again. So you'll see in the next month or so, we have events in Japan, Chicago, Toronto, Ottawa. And if you Google Global AI Tour or go to this QR code, you'll be able to see the links to all those events. Power Platform Community Conference is obviously coming up at the end of October. I will be there looking for enthusiastic community members who want to do little interviews with me. So we'll come to that at another point. Business Applications Launch Event, which is the event that we have twice yearly to cover the latest product announcements. It's currently in the works. It's going to be at some point in October, but I don't have the official launch date for that yet, but I will let you know when we do know that. And Angeliki, do you want to talk us through community-led events that are happening around Dynamics?
Absolutely. September and October is actually a very busy time. The season is officially starting up again after the summer. So loads of events for people to get involved in. There's Baltic Summit, for example, in Poland. Loads of experts live events across the world. DynamicsCon is back in Texas. And then once again, Collab Days does it with all sorts of events around Europe and the world, to be honest. So we have, for example, something in South Africa and the US. So loads of things to get involved in. And the great part about this kind of events is that they're not just Dynamics focused. So you get to interact with Power Platform community members or maybe Microsoft 365 community members. AI, of course, is everywhere. So it gives everyone an opportunity to connect, to learn, and definitely enjoy the new world of AI together.
Awesome. And there's one more event that's happening right after this call, which I always seem to plan the Power Platform related content to start immediately after these community calls. If you click on that link, it should take you to an invitation for the next episode of Understanding Microsoft Agents. So we have been running a series called Understanding Microsoft Agents, where it's folks from Microsoft in marketing and engineering, educating on everything agentic. And this time we're doing a session on governance and cost control. So Sean, who's one of the awesome guys in our marketing team, is going to be leading a 45-minute, hour-long session along with some members of the Copilot Studio engineering team and talking all things governance and cost control. So join us if, I don't know why you don't see Nordic Summit actually, because I added that onto the QR code. I must have missed it off it. It's on the QR code, Lasse. Sorry, I don't know what happened there. There is Nordic Summit coming up, and that, the Understanding Microsoft Agents is live in 12 minutes. And if you follow Power Platform Community on LinkedIn, you'll be able to see the recording once we post it afterwards as well. Lasse, do you want to talk about Nordic Summit? Tell us why folks should come to it. Putting you on the spot.
Sure. It's a very cool event. This time it's happening in Gothenburg. I think last year was in Norway, so it was in Oslo. It is happening in Gothenburg. Finally, they allowed some ERP people to join in. It was usually for this audience, mostly for the CRM people, but they started to bring on even more smarter people from the ERP world. So me and Grandpa Andrea will come there and present about AI, ERP, and all of the agentic stuff that are coming. There will be many people, I think, from this community. So assume see you there, guys. On I think 19th and 20th of September, something like that. Let me check.
Awesome.
I forgot.
Yes,
Yes, 19th
it
and
is
20th.
exactly 19th to the 20th
See.
of September.
Still sharp.
I've-
Still sharp.
I've appeased myself. I didn't put it on this slide, but I did put it on the QR code. I'm not sure how that happened because
Yeah.
one informs another, but there we go. So 19th to the 20th of September, Nordic Summit. All right, thanks everybody. Thanks for joining. We'll end a little bit early this month, and very happy to see you all back after the summer and excited to do more presentations over the coming months. Any final words, Angeliki?
Same here. Thanks to everyone for keeping an active member of the community and spread the word. We would love more friends from all the other communities.
Definitely. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Have a great Wednesday. See you in a month. Bye. Oh, I will say what we have for ERP next week. Next week for ERP, we have, let me pull the deck up. So we have Anne Krupke from marketing, Microsoft Dynamics 365 marketing, talking about some business process assets that have been created. And we have Gustav from the community talking about electronic invoicing in F&O, what you need to know to get started. So should be 2 great sessions. Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. See you all on the ERP call next week if it's relevant for you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao.